Yes, I did.
Welcome to Afternoon
Thank
Delight,
you so
Wardell. How
much.
are you?
Oh, I'm great, Deanna. It's so wonderful to be here with you today.
Good to have you.
Thank you.
Yours is a familiar voice to millions around the planet. Of course, we know your work with First Choice,
Yeah.
but you also worked with Gamble and Huff with MFSB.
Yes.
Tell us about the 70s and the recordings and the work that you did specifically with Philadelphia International Records.
Well, I did backup with Debbie Hawes and Terry Wells. We went and we did backup with MFSB when they went to Montreal, Canada. And that's pretty much what I did. I also, when I did 1999, I did a song called Good Lovin'. And we did that at Philly
For
International.
MFSB? Was it MFSB?
No.
No?
No, I
Lovin'.
worked with Helen Bruner and Terry.
Oh, I love
Terry and I.
Helen and
Yeah.
Terry. Those are our girlfriends.
Yes,
Yeah, love
I
them
worked
dearly.
with them, but we did the actual session at Philly International. So-
Over at 309.
Yes,
In the
yes,
studio.
that's
that classic
right.
studio.
Yes, yes.
Who were some of the other people that you worked with over the years, Wardell?
First Choice.
Of course.
Started out with them. I was one of the founding members of the group. We started out first as the Debinettes, and then we became First Choice. Yeah.
And who else? Who else have you worked with?
I opened up for Sylvester.
Oh,
in-
goodness.
Yeah, in
Love Sylvester.
1980 down in Washington, D.C. at Constitution Hall.
Mm-hmm.
And that was, Deanna, that was an amazing experience for me. I was so excited because I was a really big fan of his. I had all his albums. And when the record company told me he wanted me to be his opening act, I could not believe it. And it was, something happened. The record company forgot to send Super Sweet the tape. So I had to do everything a cappella.
But you can do that.
And
you
I
got
did-
it like that, Wardell. You got it like
Thanks,
that.
Deanna. And they gave me a standing ovation down there in D.C. And when I came off stage, Sylvester gave me a thumbs up.
Nice.
Yeah.
What a great validation.
Yeah, thank
Now,
you.
you're known as the First Lady of Disco. Does that
Yes.
title bother you, especially since a lot of people didn't like the title of disco? Did that bother you? Does it bother you?
No, it doesn't bother me. I'm actually one of the first ladies of disco. I was featured in a book called The First Ladies of Disco with 32 other artists that everybody knows and loves. And with me being known for disco funk and disco R&B, it was fine with me. And they say that in the book that I'm one of the purveyors of that part of the genre.
Well, you most certainly are. I mean, the work that you did with First Choice. And I didn't know was it the Debinettes?
We were the Debinettes
Debinettes.
before we became the First Choice. But I left the group right after Armed and Extremely Dangerous. So by the time I got into the disco part of the business, when disco was really known, I had my own individual single album, the Wardell Piper album, and that was Captain Boogie was my first release. And
Captain
then,
Boogie was a big record
yes,
for you.
it was. And then
Mhm.
Super Sweet was my biggest hit on that album.
Yes. And with that, you toured. Did you tour?
I got a
with that?
chance to go overseas. That's
Seas,
when,
mhm.
yeah, I went overseas. I did another album over there. That was a little later on, like I think it was like 1983. But my second attempt on Midsong was with John Davis,
Mm-hmm.
and we did The Power of Love, and we also did a remake of Ashford and Simpson's Give Me Something Real.
Wow, today is the anniversary of Nick's passing.
Wow,
Look at that.
wow.
We were just talking about Nick
Wow.
Ashford earlier.
I met Nick and Val up at Valley Forge Music Fair. I went up there to see their show.
The circle,
Yes,
the round
yes.
theater.
They
Yeah.
put on a great show. Great people.
Well, the good news is that you are still relevant, you are still performing and recording, and you have a
Yes.
new single. Tell
I
us
do.
about Be Sure.
I do. I have a new single that's out now on Spotify, iTunes, and Amazon, and it's entitled Be Sure, and it's on my new label, Piper Girl Records. I'm really excited, Deanna.
In control and owning that which you create.
It's a blessing. It's a dream come true.
Well, we are honored to let the world know that you are recording, still performing. Can we see you anytime soon in the Philly tri-state area?
I sure hope so. Troy,
Yeah.
Troy and Keith are working on a lot of things.
Shout out
for
to
me.
Troy and to Keith.
Yes,
Absolutely.
Yes. Keith Lowry produced Be Sure.
Yes,
And,
great producer, great songwriter.
Yes, yes. He has a great team. And we also have another song coming out I do believe it's going to be sometime in September, called Distant Star. And I'm finishing my album in September as well.
Wonderful.
And Troy Daniel is the executive producer on this project.
Lovely. So you've got great things coming up.
Yes.
Well, you know, we will keep our audience abreast, and we are grateful to you for stopping through the studio for Afternoon Delight, Wardell.
Thanks,
It's and you know, you are a living example of artists who contributed, you know, in the 70s and the 80s, but you are still doing it.
Thank
And
you.
people need to understand. We were having a conversation off mic about being good and grown women,
Yes.
but still doing what we love and we're passionate about.
Yes,
So I'm
indeed.
very happy that you are doing that,
Thank
Wardell,
you
and I
so
support
much.
that.
Thank you so much, Deanna, and
You are so welcome.
congratulations to
And
you as well.
thank you, and thank you for my gifts.
Oh, you're
I
so
love it. Thank
welcome.
you. I
You're so
appreciate
welcome.
I
Thank
appreciate your
you.
kindness.
Thank you.
Wardell Piper, ladies and gentlemen, yes, still doing her thing on Afternoon Delight. We're Classics 107.9.